Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. It's custom 6v6 action this afternoon with an eclectic mix of seasoned Joes and some decent pros thrown in there for good measure. It's going down on a generated map, and we'll talk more about that in just a second. First of all, let's introduce our players and our teams. We'll call this Team 1 up here at the top left, and this Team 2 down here at the bottom right. Going first for Team 1 on the back row at the edge of the screen here over on the left, it's Division Gizmo. We'll call him Gizmo today for short. He's going Aeon in Orange, opening first land. And his partner in crime on the back row for Team 1 at the top of the screen, it's Wild Caban going UEF. How terribly sensible in Fecal Brown, not quite so sensible, opening first land. On to the front row now for Team 1, another UEF, this time in Ferrari Red. It's Maxis FX. There he is, and he's going first land. Team member number 4 down here in Combat Green, our first Cybrin of the day. Skid issue, I'm sure he doesn't have any issues with his skills, but I can relate nonetheless. Maybe it's because he's gone Cybrin. And he's going Combat Green, if I haven't said that already, opening first land. Team member number 5 in this season's fabulous Vivacious Violet, our first Seraphim of the day. It's Holmy, and he's opening first land. And last but not least for Team 1 in Cyanide Cyan, we have Hannibalo. There he is, another UEF, and he's gone first land, going second land next to the Hydro there as well. So moving over to Team 2 now, starting at the bottom of the screen this time, we have Furfur, another Cybrin, going Mellow Yellow, opening first land. And team member number 2 to his right, also on the back row for Team 2, it's the lifetime recipient of Guilecast's Fabulous Personality Award, none other than your friend of mine, Maverick. Apparently it's a sad face in local chat, but I'm not sure what that's about. And he's going Electric Blue, going Seraphim, opening first land. On to the front row now, starting at the top for a little bit of a change, it's Space Cat, another Seraphim. This time it's Burgundy Red, and he's going first land. Second man for Team 2 on the front row in Elephantine Grey, another UEF, it's Kaiser Wilhelm I, already strutting his stuff towards the middle, and he is opening first and second land. Next up in Pontiff White, team member number 5, if you will, it's, I don't even know, Choleric Klaus. We'll call him Klaus today for obvious reasons. That's just an absolute mouthful. And he's going Seraphim in Pontiff White, I think, as we already said, opening first land. And last but not least, for Team 2, right down here at the bottom of the screen, in Baby Blue, it's Ermin de Ritter. A little bit of a theme here with the German-sounding names. Germanesque, or Germanic, that's probably the correct way to say it. Anyway, he's going Cybrin as well, bless him, opening first land. So there we have it. The racial breakdowns of both teams. What have we got? We've got 3 UEF, a Seraphim, an Aeon, and a Cybrin there for Team 1. And then on Team 2, we've got 3 Seraphim, a Cybrin, and a UEF there for Team 2. So game quality at 93%. We're pretty happy with that level of game quality, that balance, if you will. Space Cat opening up the aggression with, well, I mean, was he opening up the aggression or was he defending his territory? Because there's a little bit of cheeky lab play inbound from skill issue, showing that he's got no skill issue whatsoever, getting aggressive in the early doors and actually managing to keep those units alive. Might even bag himself an engineer as long as he manages to keep his lab on the move. There it is, doesn't get himself reclaimed, always nice. However, his friendly teammate Barry there providing intel for him. That little scout gets wasted by an inbound striker, so commiserations there. We didn't get a chance to talk much about the map, and that's what it looks like from a reclaim perspective. Not an awful lot of mass on the map, I think it's fair to say. The map gen has been stingy today. Our ACU's likely to be very thirsty, at least in the opening games, and for the younger generations out there, that means short on mass. Not starved of sex. I know what you're like. It's all you think about, you young types, and your reasonably balanced hormones. Let's get on with the game anyway. I'm going off on a tangent. Holmy getting aggressive inside 5 minutes here, bringing his commander forward up against Klaus, who's thrown down a couple of land factories. Holmy taking the opportunity to steal some mass that Klaus would probably feel would rightfully belong to him. Why not, I say. Homie then. Homie? It's not Homie, it's Holmy. Hey, Holmes. There he is. Like Inspector Holmes or something like that. Anyway, he's pulling back out now, not sticking around to finish off those land factories. Klaus probably prompting that dismissal by moving his own commander forward just a smidge. Not a terrible decision. And ACU's getting into it up here at the top right-hand corner, or rather top right of mid. Kaiser Wilhelm and Skill Issue going toe-to-toe. Of course, it's a Cybrin versus a UEF com. Cybrin at a disadvantage on the HP side of things. You can also already see that showing up in ye old HP bar on Skill Issue there. He's down to around 8,000 hit points. Kaiser Wilhelm with a slightly more hunky 10k. Loses his mass point though, just a stone's throw away as Skill Issue backs out of that position. So a small win, always happy to see it. Maxis bringing his own commander forward now to challenge some of the inbound spam, although it's not coming in consistent flow. It's sort of coming in drips and drabs there from Space Cat. Space Cat, while we're talking about him, grabbing himself an upgrade, 13 to 14% done on a gun upgrade. Will potentially cause problems for Maxis, although he's not being pressured particularly hard. Probably wouldn't be a bad decision to get one of his own. What's happening on the air front? A few inties from Skill Issue and one or two out from Gizmo for Team 1. Gizmo also with a T1 bomber. Oh, that was a prime target right there. Massive clump of engineers. Didn't get the bomb away though. Looked like he was coming in from that direction, but got himself shot down before he could release the payload. Very sad that there wasn't mass civilian casualties. Gun upgrade on the way for Hannibalo. 12% done on that commander upgrade. What have we got down here on Furfer? Nothing as yet. So he could find himself outmatched if he gets into a confrontation. Ermin is also getting himself an upgrade though. 60% done, so he'll probably end up leading the charge for Team 2 down in this corner if the ACUs decide to get into it, that is. And Klaus going for Tech 2. I think it's the only T2 upgrade we've seen so far. Oh, and a stealth upgrade for Skill Issue, so we've got a full plethora, an assortment of different upgrades across the spectrum of ACUs, if you will. Nice to see different players employing different tactics early doors. Holme backing up to his forward position. 4 land factories on the front line for him. Klaus also 4, but much less attached to attractive configurations and much less concerned about efficiency as well. Missing out on extra mass buffs on those land factories, and a nano repair on the way for Maxis, who's already got gun upgrades. So he's gone for the Zeph amp, and now he's going to make that commander even chunkier with some extra HP regen. Not a terrible decision. Space Cat with the 1 upgrade on board that commander. Just moving away from his forward position of 4 land factories. And looking like he might be heading down off this little C-shaped plateau, potentially to engage. Oh no, that's his teammate, isn't it? Where are we? Potentially to put some pressure on Skill Issue and Caban over here, alongside his teammate Maverick, who also has an upgrade on his comm. He went for gun. 10% done on the first upgrade for Caban. And that's going to be another gun upgrade. Looks like Space Cat going to draw his commander back up onto the plateau, probably because he's got a read on what's going on here. Large troop movements inbound from Maxis, and you probably surmise that that's the commander, which it is, and he definitely will after that, seeing that little shot come into frame, assassinating his radar station up front, which will immediately kill all intel, I assume, unless there's another one in the area. Yeah, there is another one slightly further up belonging to Maverick, still providing the intelligence they need. So Maxis inbound with his comm. There's also some games brewing down here at the bottom left. Furfer and Ermin on the rampage. Ermin with that gun upgrade. Ermin's taken a bit of a damage though on that Cybrin chassis of his, down to 7,100 HP and into the yellow. Hannibalo doesn't like the idea of going 2v1, so he's bringing his commander back, even though it would be more than a match for a Cybran commander one-on-one. But that's a very large pile of Seraphim units arrayed against Maxis. Maxis does have a bunch of his own strikers moving in behind his commander, but he's already shed a bunch of HP on that comm, and he brings in a T2 transport to just add extra pressure onto Space Cat. I can't imagine he'll be planning to use that to evac his commander, although he might be forced to. In come a few interceptors there from Space Cat trying to shoot that transport down. It's down to about 757 HP. Max is also looking pretty peaky on the comm itself, on around 5,100 hit points. The number of tanks is not thinning quickly enough. This is turning into an existential threat for him as he's now deep into the red, sub 2,000 hit points. The transport comes back in. He's now below 1,000 hit points, down to about 400. Space Cat continuing to push. He gets a rank in veterancy in absolutely crucial timing. Picks up his comm, but he could get shot down at any minute. In come the interceptors. One is pursuing him. Can he get his commander on the ground? Fortunately, that pursuing interceptor gets shot down by an archer on the ground. There are more interceptors in the area belonging to Maverick. Oh my god, get your comm on the ground. He managed it, and he's up to around 2,800 hit points. And then the interceptors come in to try and finish off the transport on the ground. Too little too late. That was very nearly a comm kill. What's going on down here at the bottom left? Meanwhile, Ermin pushing up against Hannibalo, sorry. Gun upgrade on the way for Furfa, so he's routed to the spot till that completes or he abandons it. But Ermin taking a lot of inbound damage. We've also got a triad back here. It's focused on other things for the moment, but that's so many T1 tanks primarying the comm. That's unreasonable amounts of damage, and Ermin thinks the same, so he's going to withdraw. But will he get himself caught out here? I think he's thinned enough of the troops out, but in comes a Restorer, and he's got no way to hit back at that. He urgently needs air support, but there's a fighter screen belonging to Gizmo, who that Restorer belongs to. So no air support for Team 2 is going to get in, and I think we're going to see our first ejection here. Oh, clutch. Rank in veterancy restores a whole chunk of hit points, but will it be enough? Back down into the red. There's now 2 Restorers honed in on that commander. And he knows he's going to die, I think, so he's just marching headlong into his fate. Down to 400 hit points, trying to put some damage on Hannibalo, but really no benefit to that whatsoever. Still listing all deaths as a control K, but we know better. Lovely work there by Gizmo. What's happening in the center? Kaiser Wilhelm and Maverick pushing back up against Skill Issue and Caban. Caban taking the opportunity to throw down some flak. He's also got a shield gen and some T2 point defense queued up. Back down on the bottom left, Furfa trying to withdraw, and now those Restorers who just finished off his teammate have locked on to Furfa's commander. This time there is some air support coming in from Furfa himself. He's transitioned to T3 air. Trouble is, those Restorers are very, very hardy things. Can he shoot them down in time? Furfa, his commander, down to 4,400 hit points. 2 Restorers left. Combination of swift winds and air superiority fighters for Gizmo trying to protect those gunships. 1 very badly damaged Restorer left. That gets shot down. And 1 in the yellow. Furfa in the red. Sub 2k HP. And that final Restorer gets shot down. How incredibly close was that? What's going on up here in the center? Kabam getting into a fight with Maverick and Wilhelm. Caban shedding hit points as both of those upgraded commanders with their guns advance on Caban. Skill Issue trying to intercede on his teammates' behalf, but it's going to be too little too late. Boom! He goes down. Another casualty inside 15 minutes. That is now 1 apiece. Game descends into a 5v5 from a 6v6, but Wilhelm has looked better That's for certain. In fact, so's Maverick. Both of these commanders from Team 2 with a lucky escape there. Maverick on 1,700 hit points and 3,900 on hit points for Wilhelm. What a little busy passage of play that was. FAF with a lucky escape at the bottom. Interestingly, going for stealth. Trying to extend his life in true cowardly Cybran fashion by hiding. A real man would have upgraded to the T2 engineering suite, gone for the hit point buffer. But no, cowardly Cybrans like to hide instead. It's the lack of testosterone they get when they're young, you see. Skill issue returning to the fray in the center. It's got about 5,200 hit points on that commander. That little fire base that he erected earlier is still standing. He's got a decent amount of build capacity under shield coverage there, trying to erect more defenses. And he's in a bit of a base war scenario against the Kaiser. One triad not going to defeat dual Cerberus turrets and shield coverage, so Wilhelm just going to back off ever so slightly. Is he going to stick around and try and hold this position? There's now long-range inbound fire coming from somewhere as ASFs tangle right over the top of this forward position. Massive amounts of ground spam from Klaus, pushing up against Hannibalo. Hannibalo, who's now being sandwiched from two different directions by Klaus. Worth mentioning, incidentally, that full share is on, so Klaus has been the beneficiary of all of Ermin's base and units. Huge quantities of Zuis. Hannibalo needs to get creative with his micro. Try to evade all of that inbound artillery fire. But there's also a lot of other units. Look at all these Mantis that have come in from the south. Really, I think we might be about to see another third ejection. There's no way out of it. Handful of Ilshivas brought in by his teammate Holme is not going to do it. Hannibalo running out of HP and running out of time. Down to 3,800 HP. Could get himself another rank in veterancy and extend his game time by a minute or two, but really, no, not going to happen. Either way, he was going out, and indeed he does at 17.5 minutes. It's now a 4v5 in favour of Team 2, and while we're talking about how the teams are faring more generally, let's take a look at the eco situation for the first time in this game. It's 614 mass per tick for Team 2 versus 531 for Team 1. So Team 2 are man up and also faring better in terms of eco. In terms of total mass accrued, they are also ahead, unsurprisingly. 350k versus 332. Team 1 has some catch-up work to do after a very, very busy start. Some close calls. We had Maxis, nearly a casualty there. Then Ermin, an actual casualty. Then Furfa, nearly a casualty. Then Kaban, an actual casualty. Nice little group of T2 units pushing up against Wilhelm's T1 spam, but Space Cat calls the T2 game, brings in his own platoon of Ilshivas from the northeast and sees those units away. And now what's left of that absolutely humongous horde of T1 and T2 spam belonging to Klaus, now going up against the remnant of Hannibalo's old base. There's not much in the way of base defense. Poorly sighted T2 P-Gen out front. Could be a casualty. No. Units filing in drips and drabs, and there's not a huge amount of T2 presence. There are some more Ilshivas a little bit further back in this mix. But that fusion reactor will go down. What, if anything, does that do to the power situation of Holme? Answer, not a lot. Still reasonably comfortably net positive on power expenditure. Group of restorers that we used so effectively against Ermin a few minutes ago, now valiantly defending Hannibal's old base. Actually, yes, we lost a fusion reactor, but really not an awful lot of damage inflicted with what looked on paper like a very sizable attack. That was some solid defending. Top right. Bit of a base war going on, but as soon as this Ravager completes, that will be the end of the conversation, I suppose, unless that comm is brought in aggressively to knock this base out. Those T2 Seraphim point defense, assuming they don't break through the shield, which they might do actually. The shield's about to collapse, but the Ravager's completed. It spools up, and it's going to obliterate at least one of the point defense, maybe both. In fact, the other one's looking very badly damaged already, down to 304 HP, so that's not going to last very long. Nice decision on the defenses there by Maxis. There's a nice little group of Titans on the ground harassing this top right-hand corner belonging to Maverick. Just needs a Percy or two to crack some of these positions, whilst the Titans kite the inbound fire. So that gives you an idea of the map control, visible areas, what Team 2 can see, and they are sitting on arguably 50-50. I think it's pretty much even Stevens. But as you can see with the eco situation, Team 1 still yet to capitalize on their territory as fully as Team 2 are doing. FAF getting himself another upgrade. What could that be? Starting cloaking. Interesting. Not content with the stealth and the amount of abuse I was giving him for it earlier. He's doubling down on it. His decision. Wilhelm looking pretty secure in his little fire base in the center. Wall sections cordoning off the central valley between these two arguably redundant plateaus. I suppose you could drop. That would be a lovely little maneuver, especially if you could manage to get some support commanders down or whatever. Drop them up here, just lay down the point defense and or a piece of artillery, shut that little base down completely. Of course, you'd have to ask yourself, I suppose, what would be gained rather than just creating a little bit of no man's land, a bit of strategic buffer between you and your opponent. There's not an awful lot of resources to be grabbed here. A handful of mexes, perhaps, if you can shut down a threat in the center from your opponent. So there's an Ithota under construction for Klaus over here, just southeast of the mid. In fact, that's pretty much his main base where he's building that. It's been spotted by Caban, who is spying from beyond the grave. Still, of course, with only with the vision that his teammates can see, but there will have been some kind of spy plane circling, which he will have taken the opportunity to dump that marker down to warn his teammates in case they were too busy to notice it for themselves. Always nice to see teammates being useful, even if they weren't useful in the game. LOL. Joke. Anybody who knows me and has seen me knows that I'm not one to be able to speak on such matters. The abuse I give only ever be in jest. Gun upgrade on the way for Space Cat. That's his second gun upgrade, and he's also already got advanced nano repair. 226 hit point a second regen, 36,000 hit points total. That's a nasty looking Rambo com brewing over there for Space Cat. TAC missile launcher in this forward base for Maxis. Is he launching against the com? It's certainly inbound. No, going after Maverick's resourcing option, just a stone's throw away. Would have taken a lot more than just one missile to chew its way through 36,000 hit points. That's a lot of restorers that Gizmo has amassed. He's also got a really hardy number of air superiority fighters. It looks like it's a combination of, I was about to say Maverick and a Furfer, but Maverick just donated all of his fighters over to Furfer. So we've got 47 of one race, plus 58 of another combination Cybran and Seraphim aircraft there. So around about a little bit over 100 ASFs for Team 2, all handled by Furfer now. Gizmo, who seems to be solely carrying the torch for air coverage on Team 1, a rather more paltry 60 in total. So doesn't want to get into a direct fight, but of course large gunship squadron, AA gunships at that, will augment that quite a lot. So maybe we're looking at near parity. Of course, those air-to-ground capabilities could be a problem for Team 2, as could this Monkey Lord, although these Perseus from the Kaiser taking the opportunity to inflict large amounts of damage on that Monkey Lord. It's down to around 23,000 hit points. Where is Space Cat? Space Cat up here, still working on that gun upgrade, and seemingly with quite a long way to go. He must be having a little bit of a cash flow situation. Cash flow crisis. And speaking of crisis, he's got a ruddy great experimental coming his way. Yes, I know he's got 35,000 hit points and 200 and whatever it is hit point a second regen, but you still don't want to go toe to toe with a Monkey Lord if you can at all avoid it. He hasn't unrooted himself. He wants to finish the upgrade. He's finished it, but so what? What does it matter if you're dead? Nice strap bomber in over the top from Maverick. He has got himself some mobile shield coverage. Oh, clutch kill. Shields coming in to prevent his death. There you go. I was talking prematurely about the threat there to Space Cat. He knew what he was doing. Absolutely clutch. A little bit of help from Maverick, his teammate. Always nice to see. But those mobile shield gens providing enough cover. It just shows you that microwave laser only trained on him for a few seconds, and it still chewed through a ton of hit points. And with the second gun upgrade, and I don't know if he got another rank in vet. Well, maybe he did after. He's got a lot of progress towards his next rank in veterancy, but you get a lot for killing an experimental. He's now got 43,000 hit points at full health. That is grotesque. Little attack now from Maxis in through their front line. He's got a handful of Perseus in there, but it's mostly T1 spam. Maverick once again with the strap bombers over the top just to soften this bunch of units up for Space Cat. But Space Cat looking chunky as anything right now. 42,000 hit points and climbing with that epic, now 250 hit point a second regen. Absolutely filthy. Incidentally, guys, if you're enjoying the show, please do like and comment. Helps the algorithm. And don't forget as well to check out the Patreon if you're interested in granting further support. We get almost weekly extra premium casts available only to Patreon subscribers. So do check that out. Got the Discord server and all of that. But in come the Restorers. We were wondering when they were going to make a play once again. They've cottoned on to Space Cat as a potential threat. He had some shield coverage, but that didn't last long. And he urgently needs some air support, and there is none coming. So while we've been focused in on Space Cat, it would seem that Team 2 lost an air fight, and now they're about to lose a comm as a result. Space Cat running out of hit points despite that epic commander. Buys himself a few seconds extra with that mobile shield gen, but boom! Almost on the nose of 30 seconds. Gizmo's lost a few Restorers in that encounter, but he'll be happy to come out of it with a comm kill nonetheless. It is now a 4 versus 4. 2 players down on each team. Brick push in the bottom left-hand corner from Klaus. And this really will affect some damage. Last attack we saw on this old base didn't do a huge amount, but this time he's going to struggle to hold on to everything. Hearing something in the way of an Ithota on the field. Not sure what direction that's coming from. We have got a megalith in the center. Dirty Cybran's gonna dirty Cybran. So he went for stealth upgrade initially, then he went for cloak. I'm assuming he finished that. And now it's disappeared in the bottom left-hand corner, of course, because the teleporter occupies the same slot. So are we going to see some filthy Cybran trickery? Some, I shouldn't have started this game. It's too late and too close to my bedtime, so I've got to go to bed. Let's try and finish it early. Tele-snipe business. So after that attack, it was nearly an assassination of all 4 units of core mass here, but one of the T3 mechs survives on 750 hit points. And actually, quite a lot of the factories, or all of the factories, pretty much survived. That was less damage than I expected it to do. I thought this might have been wiped, perhaps. The Restorers got involved for a moment while we were yabbering about Cybran trickery down here. T3 upgrade on the way for Wilhelm. Starting advance RAS for Klaus. Should dramatically improve the resource situation. Goodness me, look how quickly those upgrades are finishing. Klaus not actually pulling in that much mass. Currently power locked as he tries to complete those upgrades. Skill issue has moved right back to the top of the screen as a spy plane belonging to FAF flies overhead. Is that him trying to get a read once he's got his tele-snipe business in play? There's the teleporter and straight for the laser. There it is. But our nuke game has started. And that's out from FAF as well, right by the comm. I zoom out to see where it came from, and it came from 2 inches away from where I was looking beforehand. Classic Guile. And where is that nuke going? Looks like it might be going to finally finish off what's left of this base over here. Looks like there was an Ithota. That's gone. Ironstorm raging in its old position. Nuke is going to connect. And there it goes. 40 2% done on the laser on board Fervor's commander. That is the scene as far as Team 2's concerned. They've got a read on Holmey's comm. They've got a read on Maxis. They know where skill issue was. They saw it when the comm came over the top. Skill issue probably with a stealth upgrade on board. Yeah, there he is. So he could go for any of those, really. Fat Boy getting himself caught out by a whole load of ground spam inbound from Wilhelm. Wilhelm also trying to surround now this Monkey Lord and the Megalith. He'll be trying to take down the easier target, the easier high damage target first with less HP. That's the Monkey Lord back here. Running out of units up front to engage it, however. And the teleport's away. Where's he going? Where is he going? Just trying to keep my eyes on all the comms. Where is he going? Spy plane belonging to Furfer over here on the left. Did he cancel it? No, he's gone somewhere. Wait for it, wait for it. Any minute. There he is. I don't know where he went to initially. Don't know what happened there, but he teleported somewhere, but finally settled on Gizmo. We saw that spy plane lurking over there. Really, that should have been the clue. I should have just zoomed in on Gizmo and waited. I'm so paranoid after all of the kills that I've missed over the years that I'm going to miss another one. But there you have it. Anyway, Gizmo down and out at 35 minutes and about 30 to 40 seconds, something like that. And Furfer, importantly, not dead. And he's going straight after Maxis. He's going for a twofer. He's taking some fire from some point defense down here. Maxis, though, not standing close to point defense at all. And Furfer bags another one. Can he get his commander out of there? Might be wanting to go commando after that. And suddenly it's a 2v4. And again, Furfer has gotten out. Took a lot of fire inbound, but actually still got some 7,000 hit points. And another death from someone. That might have been a legitimate Control K. As Holmey no longer wanted to play with that. By the looks of things, looking like all was lost. And that leaves a skill issue all by his lonesome. Losing experimentals on the front line. Wilhelm keeping up the pressure on the ground with the T3 spam.
Strategic launch detected.
Megalith in full retreat. Ion Storm belonging to Team 2 procking, unfortunately for them, over the top of the inbound Percivals, but can't be helped. Hazard of the job. Another nuke out again from Furfer, who's done all kinds of damage this game, taking out 2 comms. And if that landed, that really would have cemented MVP. But then I don't really know who else I can give it to. Loathed as I am, as you guys well know, to give MVP to a cowardly Cyberin that employs tele-snipe tactics, but you can't argue with it. It was certainly effective in this game. And I'm not sure if something got Holmey. Do feel free to run that back, guys. And incidentally, if you want to check it out for yourself, the replay IDs of all casts are in the description below this video. So you can go plumb that into the FAF client and watch the replay at your leisure. I know some people don't like my camera work, so they like to run the cast and then look at the game themselves, so they have control over what it is they're looking at, and then abuse me in the comment section because of all the things I missed. It's all part of it. I don't mind, mainly because I don't read it. Somehow I only managed to read the nice comments. That's why you get replies. But 38, almost 39 minutes down in this game, and things not looking good right now for Team 1. Skill Issue, the only man left on the field. He is underproducing Team 2 in terms of eco by some 400 mass per tick. And he's got a little bit of a leaky front line in multiple locations. Ithota's advancing forward on key sensitive infrastructure. You know, those sensitive jangly bits. Bits you want to keep safe at all costs. Maverick looking to reclaim the top right-hand corner. Could probably do it as well with the help of these Otham siege tanks here for Wilhelm. And that is a tidy group of Percivals. Look at how much firepower is amassed. There are, however, 2 crabs standing in their way. One of the crabs partially damaged. The other one completely fresh as a daisy. That's supposed to say Scathis. Someone building a Scathis. I don't know, but the Tsar over here is doing fine work trying to control this leaky front line section. Could be about to lose a few air factories. No, I think he's tidied it up. He's lost 1 or 2 in that little encounter at any rate. Percy's now mobbing that second crab. The first crab went down. Shows you just how effective mass Percys are. Some people call them overpowered, but the only other offensive ground-based experimental is the Fat Boy, which has its own uses, but it's patently not a hard-hitting ground weapon, is it? It needs some kind of punching power, and the Percys are that power. A timely introduction of a Monkey Lord could shut this down, however. Megalith survives that last push, but he's only got about 8,000 hit points remaining. And in comes another tele attempt, this time for going after infrastructure. Takes down a massive section of Skill Issue's power grid, but he's still got 14k redundancy, and he's full barring mass to boot. Cannot spend his eco quickly enough as he's losing infrastructure. Top right hand corner is falling to a push from Maverick. Has actually potentially got air dominance. Oh, might be about to lose the Tsar though. Bosh! Nice work from Maverick, but in turn Maverick will probably lose his air superiority fighters. Spy planes moving in over the top of Skill Issue's comm. That's not a good sign, historically speaking, especially when Furfer has been so liberal with his use of tele-snipe tactics. Where's the commander? Well, he's already teleporting in. Expect that to go straight for the commander. There's a lot of Tech 1 point defense covering the comm, though. Skill Issue prepared for such a move. Oh, he hasn't gone there at all. Furfer saw the point defense. Didn't like the look of that. He's going to go on more power sniping missions. Needs to kill off the Fat Boy. Gets himself out. And this time he has gone up here. He's stayed out of range of the point defense. There are, however, strap bombers lurking. And there they are. They're en route to kill Furfer as we speak. Can they dispatch him before he teleports out? That's the question. They get the payload away. No problem. Furfer finally bites the dust. Little silver lining for Skill Issue, but he's lost the ground game on all fronts. He's actually going for a teleporter himself. Hasn't got the laser in place. Only a T3 upgrade. In comes a nuke, though, and I'm guessing nuke defense was taken out. Yep, that's what that was about. Furfer teleported up there, took out the nuke defense, and oh, didn't even let it land. Denied. Control K'd his comm before the nuke could get the kill. Lovely little play though by Team 2. There was a period in there, I think it was when hold me bowed out. I think it was a bowed out, guys. I can't be certain. Do let me know in the comment section below if I did fail yet again, as I do every now and again, and missed a kill. But I think it was a Control K. I think he was like, we're done. And after he did, Maverick said in chat, oh, we won. Took him a little bit of time to close it out, but he wasn't wrong. It was all over really from that point, and arguably maybe already at that point. Team 2 were comfortably ahead in eco for much of the game, and it was just a sort of slow ebb and slow burn away for Team 1. Map control, general combat effectiveness, and that, as they say, was that. So thanks for watching, guys. Do remember to please click like and subscribe, and get involved in comments down below. Even if you want to tell me how pretty you're feeling today, I'll do what I can to reinforce your perception of yourself. And do check out the Patreon as well, guys. It's a mere $1 a month. Like I say, every single week I try to get a new cast up, but at the very least it's once a fortnight. So lots of extra content there. I think we have some 75 premium casts on the Patreon channel now. We've got the Discord, and it's a thriving little community over there, so please do check it out. All right, guys, hope you're well, and I hope you enjoyed. We will call MVP for FAF. That was some pretty clutch play, even with that that multi base jumping, tele sniping awfulness that Cyberins love to do, and that last move where he took out the nuke defense just to finish him off. Although I think it was done and dusted, though, wasn't it? Look at all of the inbound experimentals. There was no way he was surviving that, but still, nice to see. Well played, and yeah, like I say, guys, stay well and stay safe. Until next time, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile signing out. Bye.